Hi, welcome back to Shawnee Hill's Workshop. I'm out in the garage portion of my barn right now, and a couple years ago I upgraded into the lighting out here, and I currently have 15 4-foot LED lights in here, and it is extremely bright. It's great to work in. I love it. But there is a problem. Let me raise the garage door. Right here where I just raised the garage door, it covers one of my lights here and it makes a dark spot. So if I'm trying to work on something right here, then I never have enough light. And that doesn't seem like it would be that big of a problem, except for on a hot summer night, I might have all these bays up trying to get air circulation, and it just makes it really dark. Because from standing right here, not only has it blocked the light overhead, but it's actually blocked the second row of lights as well. So it's extremely dark. Now, a few days ago, there was a Facebook post that was kind of going viral around the groups that I'm on anyway. And what the person had done is they had mounted a couple of LED lights to the inside of their garage door, and they had a plug sticking up out of the top. And when the garage door opened, it plugged into a receptacle at the top and turned the lights on automatically. Now, as you can imagine, there was a whole lot of comments on both sides, from it being genius to he's going to burn his barn down. The fact is, it's a great idea, but it wasn't the best way that he went about doing it. Really good novelty, great for a Facebook video, but in all actuality, it's going to fail. It's not a long-term solution, and it's not the correct way to do it. Well, I like the idea, and that is what I love about the internet. I love about YouTube, Facebook, all the groups I'm on, is you see these things out there and they just get your creative juices flowing and get your mind working, and instantly I'm like, that'll solve my problem. Now, there are multiple ways you can go about this. You can mount the lights in the garage door like he did, or you could actually mount them, whether it be LED strips or the actual fixtures, to the bottom of your rails here, have one on each rail, and when it goes up, the lights come down. Now, mounting it to the rails would be the easier of the two ways. That way you don't have any power that's moving, the power stays stationary. All you have to do is either wire in an actual switch on the wall, or you can wire in a limit switch on the garage door to turn the lights on. But I really like the novelty of having it in the door, and I also like the fact of having the light directly over where I work as opposed to the two sides. I don't know that I'm going to do this to all my garage doors. What I think I'm going to do right now is do it to just this door, and then I might try on the one beside it doing the two on the rail and see if I have a preference one way or the other. My biggest reason for doing this video is I want to show people that if they like the idea of that light in the door and the way the guy did it on Facebook, there's a way you can do it with parts either from your big box store or from Amazon, that you can do it the correct way. Or at least, let me say, a more correct way. So I started off by taking the lights that I'd purchased from my local hardware store and notching them into my insulated garage door. Now, I know that this is taking out some insulation value, and I'm okay with that. These are only insulated doors because I bought them used on Craigslist, and that's what they are. The rest of this workshop here, the garage portion, is not insulated. If yours are insulated, then you may want to surface mount them as opposed to trying to flush mount them. Another option is you could also look at the LED strips. I don't have much experience with those, so I went with these because that's what I've got hanging in the rest of my shop. I then took off the lens cover and used self-tapping screws to attach the fixture to the actual skin of the garage door itself. Now, I was very careful to mark where my wires were at inside my garage door, so I did not screw into those. That could be a bad problem. I thought about running the wire inside of this support and drilling the hole and putting the grommet there, as opposed to having the two grommets on the skin, but I didn't like the idea of having a wire going through a hole in a piece of metal, even with a grommet there, if it was in a place I can't see it. If somehow this grommet works its way out, I'll be able to see it and be able to catch it before that comes into an issue. I bent a piece of rigid conduit to closely match the curve of my garage door track. I did make it a little bit more of a gradual curve, because the first one that I made, it was just such a tight curve that it didn't want to pull the rings around as well. I attached the conduit to the track using closet flange bolts. I use these bolts a lot as they have a real small head and they fit perfectly into T-track, and so I keep them in a case for jig building, and they work perfect here because they don't stick out any further than the rivets that are already in the track. I bought a pre-coiled extension cord from my home store and then took a 3-inch piece of PVC pipe and made rings, and then I zip tied the cord to the rings and have them to where they'll slide them down the track. Now I was very careful to make sure to sand these really good, as PVC can be very sharp on the corners, and I've got them sanded inside and out so they're nice and smooth. I installed a limit switch about 3 feet away from the wall. I wanted it to be closer because what I wanted to do is, even if I wanted to just lift the door slightly, it would turn on, but because of the angle of the doors, it needed to be that far away to keep from getting caught in the crack of the door. But now, even if the door only opens a little bit, the lights go ahead and turn on, as opposed to it having to be all the way at the end of its travel. The limit switch is then tied back into this receptacle, and it's only tied into one half of the receptacle, and I actually have the other half blanked off right now with a, it's for child protection to keep them from sticking their fingers in. I don't know what it's called. Just so myself or somebody else won't be trying to plug something in there and wonder why it won't work. And my intention is, if I do another garage door, I will do half the outlet off one limit switch and half off the other and have them both plugged in there. Now I'm not going to show you how I wired anything because that's a bad idea. I'm not an electrician. If you feel comfortable doing this on your own, great. If you don't, hire a qualified electrician. I'm not going to do a how to wire a receptacle or how to wire a limit switch. I'm not even going to tell you what limit switch to use. Figure that out for yourself based on the voltage and the amperage you need. Again, I don't want to take that kind of liability. I'm just showing you ideas and ways I did things. Now my goal was to come up with a solution that would be safe, would meet code, and would also be easily accessible parts. Everything I got here can either be purchased from Amazon or your local box stores. The one exception may be the specific limit switch. It's $8 on Amazon. I wasn't able to find a lever actuated switch at my home stores, but I was able to find a push button momentary switch. So the design would have to be changed a little bit to go with a push button, or you'd have to add your own lever onto the push button. Again, I'd love to hear your comments. What would you change? What could I do different? But I guess the real question is, am I going to do it for the rest of my doors? And honestly, I don't know yet. You know, it may be that it's just more of a novelty and it's not necessary. I do think I will mount lights on my rails for my next garage door over, just so I can compare and live with them for a while and see which I like better. Right now, I really like this solution. I like how clean it looks. Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe it is just a novelty and it'll wear off, so we'll see. But again, I can't stress more that this is not as much about the project as it is the process. Finding an idea online and getting your brain moving and trying new things. I learned a lot about limit switches, a lot about the mechanics of having the cord slide along. It's a great thing that I know I'll be able to take what I'm learning here and apply it in projects down the road. Well, as I always say, if you like this kind of video, click that thumbs up button. If you don't like this video, click the thumbs down button. Either way, leave me a comment and tell me why you do like it or why you don't like it, so I can continue to get better at my craft. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you. Click that subscribe button, and if you'd like to be notified of all my videos, click the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.